Welcome to Around the Board, a show where four board game enthusiasts discuss board game topics and news. We begin today's show by putting our guest on the hot seat. If she survives, we'll move on to a group discussion about how we learn games. Then on to everyone's favorite, play, shelf, and trade. Ending the show today, I have another award-winning Believe It or Not segment, which I will most definitely stump these chumps. Here are your hosts, Daniel Connors, John Theismann, Old Man Chris Thomason, and our special guest, Sarah Shah. Now join us around the board. Hey guys, how's everybody doing?
Going on?
For those of you might be wondering where Andy is and what's going on, who's this Sarah Shah? Well, where have you been? She is Board Games in a Minute, one of the best board game YouTube channels out there.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, next to us anyway. But Sarah, why don't you just tell, for people that might not know you, the few people that don't know about you, why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel and what you do over there?
Yeah, so during the pandemic, when we were all in lockdown, that's when I started my channel and I started creating overview videos of board games, and they just kind of took off. And so I've been doing it ever since. So I create like 1 to 2 minute overview videos of board games, and I cover a lot of games which are coming to like Kickstarter or GameFound. And then I've also kind of expanded since then. So now I also have a weekly series where I discuss all the games I've played in the last week in more detail. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Some of you might not know, Sarah is one of the inspirations that I had in trying to get these guys together. I mean, we all wanted to make a channel, but that was one of the things I'm like, look at this. She's on her phone making a YouTube channel, and it's really good. And it's like, I don't know that at the time I didn't realize I got on right basically at the beginning of your YouTube channel, I think, or shortly thereafter. And It was, what I liked about it was you'd hear about a game, you'd go on to learn about it, and you're, how long? 8 minutes in, 10 minutes in before you realize, oh, it's a co-op. I'm out. And what a bunch of wasted time. I'm like, I'm going to Sarah's channel from now on. If she's got it on there, I'm going to know all I need to know in a minute about whether I might like it or not. I mean, that's pretty good. So that's what got me into it. And that's what got me thinking, hey, maybe we could do this. So
yeah, and I still use my phone. So years later.
That's what I noticed that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, I mean, this is the best cameras. We all tried to actually use our phones, but it wasn't working. So we had to go to these Logitech cameras, which may not be the greatest, but you know what? It works.
Yeah.
So the other thing we wanted to talk about is this weekend we spent a lot of time at our local convention at Meeple-a-thon. Meeple-a-thon is a convention that raises money for homeless shelters in the Kansas City area. And we got to spend a lot of time there. It was a wonderful event in the like old Kemper Arena where they used to do a lot of the wrestling matches and the basketball matches and all those matches things.
Door soccer.
The sports ball stuff. And it was this really good venue. And it was a really good time. And we thank you. We met a lot of people there. And I think we got a lot of new subscribers. So if you guys are watching this for the first time, thank you so very much. And it was awesome meeting you. Also, we were pleasantly surprised about the amount. We were there last year, so we understood there were going to be people there who were like, yeah, I already subscribed to your channel for your giveaway last year. And we're like, cool. But then we were pleasantly surprised by the number of people who actually said, hey, I've been watching your channel and we enjoy it. So heck yeah, thank you guys so much. We weren't sure if anybody was watching it. We thought all of our views just came from our moms. So
yeah.
So to know that you guys are actually watching it, that was super special. And we thank you guys so much. And if you didn't make it out to Meeple-a-thon, hopefully you guys can make it out next year.
Yep. I want to make a shout out to Brandon Erdley, who won our giveaway at Meeple-a-thon. We were giving away, we had a play shelf trade set up of some of the biggest games that we've talked about on the show. We had Wingspan, Lost Ruins of Arnak, and Concordia. And he did a play shelf trade of those. And he said Wingspan is the one he wants. So Wingspan is what he's going to get. It's going to fly over to him pretty soon. So congratulations.
But the most important thing is, what did he want to trade? Do you have it in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me now.
Oh,
sorry.
No. Actually, I think I have it, don't I? I told you it was in my bag, and don't make me forget. Let me forget. And I forgot. You dropped the ball, John.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. But
all right. Well, enough of all of that. You know what the people are really here for, right? It's time to play the game.
The game.
And we're hoping the music is playing right now. All right.
Around the board. Yes, Andy. Yes, Daniel. What's up?
Around the Board is all about debating different topics with tabletop gaming and 4 unique segments, each hosted by one of us. And a behind-the-scenes judge will award us points, and at the end of the show, the contestant with the most points will demonstrate to all why they are the superior for 2 whole minutes with their silver tongue. Now, it's time to play the game.
Round 1. Fight!
All right, in round 1, we could put our guest on the hot seat. Sarah was kind enough to come here and join us, but each of our round the board hosts now will rapid fire questions with her, and she'll get as many answered as fast as she can. Can Sarah stand the heat? I guess we will find out. So Sarah, we'll put you there in the middle, and I will start it out. This is something that's been bugging me because you play so many games. You must play, I mean, an insane amount of games. Who do you find to play games with that often, or how often do you have to do it just solo?
Oh yeah, so I have a local gaming group, so I make friends through my local gaming group, and then anyone I meet, I'll try to get them to play games. So there's always people to play with, but I do once in a while play games solo as well. But I only play small footprint games solo. I don't like setting up a huge giant game to play solo. So only small games I'll play solo, but there's always friends around to play games with.
Wow.
So
okay, cool. I thought you might have some special person right away that's like, hey, we got to play this. But
no, I wish I had a partner who played board games, but I'm single, so no board games.
Oh, I got you. I just meant like a regular person that would at least play with you all the time or something. Okay.
No, there's just a bunch of different people.
Okay, cool.
Hear that, Chris? She meets other people and plays with other people.
That's what I was about to say. Is like, it must be nice to have charisma, because clearly I have none, because no one ever wants to play games with me. So I was checking out your channel, and I saw that you went to Essen for the first time this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of going through the video, and I never actually got to the end, unfortunately, where you actually talk about like your experience. But it actually worked out for the purpose of the show. So I want to know specifically, you went to Essen. What was your What was your feelings on the food? Did you do like food trucks there at Essen? Did you actually find some local like restaurants that you really liked? Tell us what your thoughts on the food was.
Yeah, the food trucks. So if you are a vegetarian, it's not going to be very vegetarian friendly, but there are a lot of options. Everyone said I had to try these spiral potato things. And so I got it, and it's like a huge potato spiral thing, and it's deep fried, but it is dripping oil. And I was like, that is not board game friendly. Like, so, like it was just dripping oil all over my hand, even though I had like a paper towel and everything. And I was like, yeah, never again. Like, hopefully if I go back to Essen, I'm never having that thing again, because it's just not good for board games.
Wow.
But yeah, there were a variety of food trucks. And once I found like food that I could eat, then I was pretty happy with the food trucks. And then the restaurants locally were really good as well. So yeah,
that's awesome. Oh, we're hoping to someday go. We don't know when it'll happen, but yeah, it'll be amazing.
I'm still trying to make it to Gen Con, Chris.
Well,
I've never made it to Gen Con.
That's your own problem.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, Sarah, you review board games, or at least talk about them, summarize them in a minute. So my question to you is, do you record on 2 times speed or 1.5 times speed?
1 time. So this is something that people still ask me about, and I'm so surprised. No, it's on regular speed. Like, I don't speed up my videos. Yeah.
I figured that'd be the answer, but man, you are really good at like getting that out there. Like,
I've slowed it down. So when I first started,
Yeah.
TikTok had a 59-second limit. So sometimes I would have to really speak really, really fast to get everything into a minute. But since then, TikTok has allowed for longer videos. So I've slowed down my pace a little bit. But like back then, I remember sometimes I'd have to do like 70 takes before I could get a video right, because I would have to talk really fast and not like stumble over my words. It's pretty hard. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like I'm gonna break the format here and jump in here like kind of response. Yeah, so last year we tried to do a bunch of like TikTok type videos for Christmas and stuff like that about talking about games, and like it was madness. So like how you do it I don't understand, but when you said 70 takes, I was like, okay, I guess it makes sense. If you do it that many times, it's gonna hit the finally. Like,
yeah, it's gotten better.
Didn't have the stamina to do 70 takes. I was like, well, this 7th one was good, so I'm moving on.
No, I'm a bit of a perfectionist too. So if like even the slightest thing goes wrong, and I'll be like, no, people will notice that. I have to redo the whole thing. So yeah.
I don't know how that feels at all.
I like how Chris said we all tried to do these videos. One of us did all their videos. Okay, you other slackers never finished your videos. And
Chris did. It was just me and Andy. It was me and Andy.
Yeah, it was just Andy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Chris finished all his. My bad.
All right, slacker, ask
I
your
did all mine
question.
at one
Go.
time.
Well, that was actually one of the questions I was going to ask. You already answered was how many takes. I can't believe you took 70 takes or ish to do a video. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten better now.
Wow.
Like over the years, I've gotten much more skilled at it. So now I can do like a really hard video, maybe in like 25 to 30 takes. So now I'm not like spending, now it's not taking me somewhere between 70 and 100 takes anymore, thank God. So now it's down to like around 25, 30 takes for a difficult one.
So what is the hardest one that you've had to do quickly?
Oh gosh, that's a tough question.
I mean, I would think it'd be like a heavy euro or something.
It would have to be something that's pretty heavy that has a lot to talk about.
It
was not, no. No, probably be a heavier one. Like I think maybe something like maybe Weather Machine. I think, that was the only Vital Lacerda game I ever covered.
Yeah, I could see that.
Sometimes with the heavier ones, sometimes they actually end up being not as difficult because then I tend to give a more broader overview because like if a game is lighter, then I can actually fit more in where I actually talk about more about how it actually plays and like the actual sequence and the turns and stuff like that. Yeah. So actually sometimes if it's a much more difficult game, then it ends up being more of a broader overview.
Okay. It's you talk about it in terms of theme and stuff like that. And
yeah.
One thing before I throw it to Chris. That's what always amazed me on your videos was you would have all these like cards set up, like you take 2 of these and then you have to take one of these and that goes on this. And then like, there's so many ways that can mess up. That's why I was like, oh my gosh, that's gotta be so aggravating. You get through 8 of them and the 9th one, you drop something.
Oh, that happens all the time. I've had components go flying out of my hands.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. That's incredible. All right, Chris, I'm sorry.
It's good. So John earlier talked about how like you were an influence for her, or you were an influence for him for the purposes of the show. I was looking at her, and
okay.
So yeah, you were an influence for the purposes of him for what he thought a podcast or a YouTube channel would be. What were your influences?
Yeah, that's a funny question because I had no influences. So when before I became a content creator, I never consumed any board game content whatsoever.
Oh, funny.
So I was on TikTok, and at that time, no one was on TikTok, right? Because I'm kind of the person who started the whole TikTok trend. So before then, there was no one on TikTok. I never consumed like long form board game content because I didn't have the patience for it. Like I don't want to sit there and watch an hour-long video to learn about a board game. And at that time, TikTok was mostly videos about singing and dancing. So I thought to myself, how can I, make something about board games? And that's when I started making overview videos. So prior to me making videos, I wasn't consuming any content, and it's only after I became a content creator myself that when other content creators started taking notice of me, I was like, okay, I guess I better watch their content too. So that's when I started consuming board game content. Yeah,
that's interesting. That's interesting.
All right, so what game got you? What game gets credit for getting you into the hobby, or is there one?
Catan, yeah. So that's what I played in law school, and that's when I, really just got into the hobby and just wanted to play it all the freaking time. So yeah, so Catan was my gateway game into the world of board gaming. Yeah.
Cool. Same here, Sarah. But also, we played games all the time growing up as kids. I mean, we always played, the traditional games. But then my sister one time got me into Catan, and I'm like, yeah.
I don't count like Candyland and Monopoly. No.
Right. Oh yeah,
games I played when I was a kid, I don't count those.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count. That doesn't count exactly.
Yeah.
I think we got time for one more time around. Just real quick, you live in New York, correct?
Yes.
Have you lived anywhere else? Have you born and raised New York, or where all have you lived?
Yeah, I was born and raised in New York, but I've also lived in Bloomington, Indiana. I've lived in Hartford, Connecticut, and then London, United Kingdom. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
World traveler.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. So this one's a little lighter of a question, but it's 2 parts, and this is very important to me. Very important. When you play, do you choose of the standard colors, red, yellow, blue, or green? And then when it's the non-normal colors, orange, purple, black, or natural. Which one?
Okay, so standard, I will definitely pick green, and then non-standard, if there's purple, always purple. Like,
oh, nice! You're in the purple square, so awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the most important question of the day.
Here we go.
Marvel or DC?
Oh,
Marvel.
Yes, that's the correct answer. Good job.
But unfortunately, that's where we're at. It used to be Marvel. No way around it was better than DC.
Yeah,
But they
no, it's
just
like
drugged themselves with the mud recently, where
Yeah.
people are like, I guess Marvel by definition, but it's getting close.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for being in the hot seat, and you took it very well. But those of you listening, if you had any questions for Sarah, please leave them in the comments down below. Maybe she'll see it. Maybe she'll answer. Probably not.
Yeah, for sure.
But hey, maybe we'll answer. All right.
We'll answer for her.
I like how you just totally volunteered her to like follow this episode.
Yes, she's going to be doing that for sure. All right, now it's time for round 2.
Round 2. Fight.
All right, so in this segment, we're going to talk about how we learn games, and I appreciate the picture that Randy put there in the right-hand corner, because I think he already knew the answer for me. So that is my answer. Rodney is one of the big ways that I learn games. I read the rule books, but many times, like, oh man, if it's a game that's like Reiner Knizia, the great doctor, my man right there, reading that rule book and figuring out the game ain't that bad, because they're pretty light games, just a ton of depth, so I'm good at it. But man, some of these more in-depth, like real hard Euros, it's just like it's 20 pages of rules, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna remember this. It's just not going to happen. So I'm more of a visual learner anyway. So Rodney's videos are fantastic. Shout out to him. We shout out to him all the time because he's the man when it comes to this kind of stuff. And then the other is our good friend Ryan. He's literally an aerospace engineer, so he's actually like a rocket scientist. He's super smart. And so sometimes I'm just like, you want to play this game, Ryan? Are you interested? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, well, here, you take it. And then whenever you've learned it, we'll play it, because it ain't going to happen. I'm not going to be able to figure this out. So he's my other go-to. But yeah, I've always been a visual learner, or through repetition, learn through work, opposed to just, read the definition and I got it now. Like that's never worked for me. So that's where I'm at on it.
Chris, you said you read rule books. I really thought you didn't know how to read. You always said. I mean, so I don't know. I'm calling shenanigans on that one.
I do know how to read. What I
okay.
usually say is I read no good. I know read good, but
I don't read.
Yeah, I do it sometimes. Sometimes it's just such a daunting task that it's just. And then I also like. And then this is kind of two-part. I guess you're glad you said something. It's two-part. Like I also have anxiety. Like John always talks about board game anxiety or whatever, about like how long the game's going to be. For me, it's like teaching people. Like I have a confidence level problem with teaching games. With other things, I have no problem, but this one's weirdly one I have a problem with. So I'm always like, I'm going to read the book and I'm not going to remember something, and there's going to be a bad play, and people aren't going to like it. They're going to think I'm dumb, and so that's part of the reason I put it on other people, or be like, wait until I absolutely know everything there is to know about a game. But the problem is, since I haven't played it, how would I know? Like, that's my problem. Like, since I learned through repetition, I can't know how to play a game until I played it. Chicken or the egg is the problem. Yeah. So anyway, Sarah, how about you?
Yeah, it's basically just the rule book for me. So I just read the rule book and hopefully have the game in front of me. And then, kind of try to visualize things as I'm learning the rule book after having set up the game. And if I ever have questions, I go to BGG. That's not always a solution when I'm dealing with a game that I'm covering for Kickstarter. So then sometimes I have to reach out to the designer or the publisher. But yeah, I'm solely a rule book kind of person, and then BGG for any questions I have. Yeah.
Cool.
So you said earlier you have a
go
law
ahead.
degree, right?
Sorry, what was that?
You went to law school, is what you said, right? So
yeah, I'm a lawyer.
So
yeah,
it makes sense that you have to be good at learning through the book, or otherwise there's not a whole lot of learn how to be a lawyer on YouTube, right? So so yeah, it makes sense that the rule book functions and works great for you. So
yeah,
I just want to bring up, or Sarah, when you get these games though, sometimes are they like in the prototype stage and have like a funky rule book that maybe might not be done all the way and might not address everything that you would, or do you not come across that?
Yeah, I do give a lot of feedback sometimes. Like if it's, for the big publishers like Garfield Games, like I've never, their rule book is basically just completely finished. But I have gotten back, have had rule books where I've given them a lot of feedback where some things just didn't make sense, or the order of things didn't make sense. And I'll just, tell them, So I hope that they take my suggestions into consideration because
I gotcha.
yeah.
We actually did. We've gotten one. It was Pompero. They actually sent us a review copy, which we were super appreciative of.
Oh, cool.
And I busted out the rule book. I read through it. And I was like, I got this. I sat down. And I realized this rule book is like literally a third of the game. I was like, this isn't a rule book. So I had to go to their Kickstarter page and found the full rule book. And I was just like, but I spent hours poring over it, going, what is going on? It was the craziest thing ever. Yeah. So I don't envy you for like that role that you're doing. So good job on taking on, unfinished games like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So so for me, the way I learned is like, it's kind of like, going on a date. I need to have a perfect scenario. I need to lay out a blanket. I need to put the game out. I need to stare at it for a while. And then I need to actually like then read the manual. And then as I'm reading the manual, I'm going to move the piece and go, okay. So that's how the one turn works. And then, okay, I'm going to do that. But unfortunately, my life does not always facilitate, much like dates, facilitate doing that. I don't have the time. The kids are running around. They want to come and do other things. And I was like, so what I try to do is read through the book and it doesn't make sense. So I play the game inaccurately. And I let Ryan and Chris tell me how I did things wrong. And then I go back and watch the video to like reinforce what I just played. And I go, oh, those are the things I remembered. And then I read the book again one more time. So I guess I just like torture because like I literally learn the game like 4 separate times before I finally learn the game. And yet I still don't end up learning the game very well. So how do I learn the game? One would say I don't. I mean, in the end.
The best moments is on that third play where he's like, oh, I got it. I figured out this game, guys. And then he plays a rule wrong and destroys us. And then he's like, oh, I don't know, guys. I figured it out. We're like, I think you're still doing it wrong. And then a few days later, he's like, yeah, that was not right.
They're referring to specifically Heaven and Ale. And I never read the rule book because Andy taught me it several times. So I never went through my procedures. So Andy wasn't there. So I was like, I'll teach you guys Heaven and Ale. And I destroyed them. I almost got a perfect score. And I was like, guys, I saw the Matrix. I know how to play this game. And then we told Andy what we did. And Andy's like, that's not how you do it.
Yeah, that's cheating.
What you just straight up cheated the whole game. And I was like, yeah, okay, well,
gosh,
it happens.
Well, I do mine very similar to how you do, Sarah. Is that I'll get a new game, I'll come home, I'll bust it open, and usually the rule book, I'll take it out and set it. I'll just kind of flip through the things that are in the game, not even take it maybe all the way out of the box yet, and then start pouring into the rule book. And then as I have questions about what something is, what does that look like? And I'll just kind of look at it in the box and then get as much of an understanding as I can before I even get anything all the way out of the box. And then I do like to do like a playthrough of like a turn if I can. But some games, and it doesn't matter if sometimes a complex game like Jerusalem is fine. I did great with that, learned how to play it and fine. A lot of big heavier Euros like that I have it fine. I'm looking at Cape May sitting there on my game shelf. And I have gone over that rules like 3-4 times. And it's not that it's that complicated a game, but for some reason I don't feel confident in teaching it. And it's like a game like that, I almost like have to have a friend over. Like I had our good buddy game creator Matt Saunders. There we go. Another chance to put his game up there and post. But I had him come over to learn Kangasieros because it's like, okay, I think I know how this plays, but can you come over so we can just kind of throw stuff out there? And then, it took us a few turns. And then we're like, okay, now I got this game. So sometimes games just kind of, you just can't visualize it, until you actually get in there and dirty and do it. That's the way it was for me anyway. So that's how I actually like to, however, games that I do think I know how to play. And I've actually played, but it's been a long time. Sometimes it's fun just to break one out and relearn it. That's what I like to do. So just get the stuff out and say, oh yeah, that's how you do this. Great. I'm gonna have to do this again sometime. So sometimes I just like to learn them for fun. That might make me weird, according to Daniel.
Yeah, your definition of fun is a lot different than mine.
Well, guys, how do you learn it? Do you do one of what we do, or something altogether different, or some sort of combination? Let us know in the comments and tell us why we're idiots, as always. And most of all, like, share, and subscribe.
All right, we'll wrap it up here for a commercial break and be back right after this.
Darkness covers the land. Evil runs amok. Chaos reigns in the hearts of men and women. It's time to start over. The creator of the universe is about to give humanity a cold shower. In Ark Noah, you and your family members work cooperatively to survive a massive flood coming to cleanse the land of evil.
The National Weather Service has issued a flash flood warning for...
Your tasks include warning other humans about their impending doom, collecting pairs of animals to breed in the new world, and gathering resources to build a massive floating vessel of protection. In Phase 1, you get to work on your tasks while ignoring public mockery. Noah, you old fool. I know how to swim. But be careful. Phase 2 can kick in at any time, bringing with it 40 days of rain that are sure to dampen your plans. If you succeed, you'll be rewarded with an all-new life full of rainbows, fertility, smoked meats, and the death penalty. It's an epic water judgment adventure for families of all ages.
And welcome back, guys. We are going to just jump straight into the second half with round 3.
Round 3. Fight!
All right, so we are going to do Play, Shelf, Trade, our favorite segment. And again, if you're watching us from the first time from Meeple-a-thon, I appreciate you participating in our Play, Shelf, Trade. And because we're recording the day after and it was a long night, I don't have the tabulations of where the Meeples picks were, but next show, watch that one. And we're going to tell you what you guys picked for our Meeple-a-thon Play, Shelf, Trade, which was Concordia, Wingspan, and Lost Runes of Arnak. So I'm really hoping Lost Runes won because that's my favorite. But I don't know. Day 2, there was a lot of trading Lost Runes, so I'm a little scared. So
It's true.
you don't like any of those games, Chris. So I don't know why you're winking at me here.
I'm interested to give Concordia another try. And honestly, I'm going to be honest. Like, Arnak's a fine game. You just really soured it to me when you told me it was a deck builder, and it's not at all. So.
See, Sarah disagrees. She disagrees with you, isn't it?
It's both a worker placement and deck building game.
Yes, it is.
Let's actually just talk about this. Why not? This is fun. Okay, so deck builder for me is Dominion, like drawing cards, building a deck, and actually going through those cards over and over and over and over. Arnak is like, I'm going to take this card and put it in my deck, and I might play it 1 or 2 more times, maybe. Like, that, like John says, that's a hand builder, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's a hand builder, not a deck builder. So, but then Daniel, if you watch our show, you'll realize there's an ongoing joke that Daniel calls every game a rondelle somehow, which is ridiculous. So it's
Concordia and Gloomhaven can be an argument. Could be an argument that they're a rondelle.
So the deck builder is also shtick for the same way that rondelle is every game somehow. So it's,
all right. Well, that's enough of that Play Shelf and Trade.
That is.
Let's talk about this Play Shelf and Trade. So in this segment where we take 3 games, each choose out of these games which one we would like to play right now, which one we're going to shelf for later, or not shelf for later, but more like keep on our shelf forever. And then which one are we going to trade away for something better or burn it with fire? So today, the 3 games are Ark Nova, which is a pretty massive tableau building game where you're taking actions and you're building your zoo and you're just trying to get as much victory points as possible. I guess it's not really tableau building, but I digress. Everdell, which I think is tableau building, which is just all I know about it really is there's a giant tree and you play cards. I don't know. And then New York Zoo, which is a polyomino game where you're moving around the little zoo board, picking up different shapes. You're planting them into your zoo and you're placing the animals on there.
How about if you play Sarah's 1-minute video of New York Zoo right now?
Talk about New York Zoo. This is a polyomino tiling game for 1 to 5 players. You are trying to fill up your zoo first with enclosures and attraction tiles in order to win this game. So on your turn, you can move an elephant up to 3 spaces around this rondelle. You can land on one of these blue spaces and take the animals there and place them into your enclosures or into your barns if you have space there. Or you can land in one of these spaces which will have stacks of tiles in them. And you can take the top tile and place it into your zoo. When you place an enclosure tile into your zoo, you must then place 1 or 2 animals there from your barn or from an existing enclosure. If you take an animal from an existing enclosure, there must be at least 1 animal left behind, and you can only have 1 species of a kind in an enclosure. If an enclosure fills up with animals, then you can remove those animals, placing 1 into your barn, and then you can take an attraction tile, which will help to fill up your board quicker. If someone passes over a breeding ground on their turn with the elephant, which is these brown spaces, and you have 2 or more animals in an enclosure, you can take another animal, placing it into that enclosure to try to fill it up as quickly as possible. The first player to fill up this board will win. It is a pretty cool game, and if you like polyomino games and animal meeples, you should check this one out.
All right, well, there you go. And that gives you a taste of what Sarah does on her channel. So very, very concise, Chris, with a lot of information. You should start taking notes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me go with my play shelf trade here. And my play will be a surprise to nobody. Actually, sorry, my shelf, because the shelf is the one I want to keep forever. And that is it's Ark Noah. Ark Nova.
Ark Noah?
I'm restarting this.
Okay.
No, keep going.
Keep it.
No.
Okay. So Ark Nova, it's one of my all-time favorite games. I love to play it. I actually just picked up the Marine expansion, so super excited to play that one. New York Zoo is actually going to be my play. While it didn't resonate with me a lot, I would still play it again. I'm really excited for it. Not excited for it, but yeah, I would play it again. It's fine. Everdell, though, that is going to be my trade because Everdell broke me, guys, which Chris might say it fixed me, but it broke me. I was on a kickstarting pledge, binge, and I'm doing all this stuff and I'm getting every game I possibly can. And then Everdell came along. And for whatever reason, I sat there and stared at it and I go, this is just the same game that I've been playing over and over again, but there's a giant tree in it. So Everdell's giant tree has become synonymous with me for jumping the shark. It's like, so if you ever say a game's gone too far, you can just say they put a giant tree in it. And I'm like, I get it. And Everdell might be a great game and it might be one I enjoy, but every time I see that giant tree, I'm just like, it's just like everything else, but with a giant tree. And I just can't get around that. One day I'll play it, but for this segment, it's my trade.
This from the man that literally would buy any game that says Marvel on it. And
correct.
But that's not the same thing over and over, but whatever. Okay.
No, they're all vastly different.
They're all vastly different and most of them are bad.
Except there's things like Marvel Dice Throne. It's like, it's more Dice Throne, except it's Marvel. It's literally the exact same thing, just
That's
Marvel.
right.
But that's
right.
different somehow.
That's right. Well, you need different pairs of socks to wear. Same thing.
I guess that's fair.
All right. So going to me, this one was actually kind of tough because it's been a while since I played Ark Nova. And but Ark Noah isn't making my list, but Ark Nova is. For those you don't know, we did a parody called Ark Noah.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to have to play that this time. Maybe that'll be our commercial.
There you go.
Exactly. But I think Ark Nova is going to have to be my play. It's been too long. I've enjoyed every play I've had of it. I don't think it's a perfect game. And I even think I said, I don't think you can see it, but I think Earth, to me, does that same process better of getting the cards and building the tableau and building whatever. Not really tableau building, like you said, but it's a good combination between that and Terraforming Mars. To me, I would rather play Earth, but that's not one of the choices. We're going to take Ark Nova. That's going to be the one I play. I think the one I haven't played is Everdell, and everybody tells me I will love Everdell. We have a friend, Kelly, who's like, I can't believe you haven't played Everdell. This is like your game. You would love it. And so I think I need to play that, but it's not my play. It's going to be my shelf, though, because there's so many people that love it. I know I would get it played. So it may as well be on my shelf. I can always pull it out and set up that tree, and Daniel will go crazy, and he'll say, like, I got to play this game. It is a tree. So that one I'll do. The one I played the most is New York Zoo, and my wife loves it. We'll break it out every once in a while, but I think what I don't like about it is it's just a race to fill the board. I wish there was something else to it besides just the race to fill the board kind of a thing. Kind of like I got World Wonders here recently, and that fits my jam for a polyomino game where you can just go crazy about cramming stuff in as tight as you want to and surrounding it, or you can go crazy about building the World Wonders, or you can do going up on the tracks, whatever. You can take different methods to try to get your point. So I know I mentioned a lot of games that aren't in the list, but New York Zoo is going to be my trade. So that's what I got.
I'm a little surprised Zoo is your trade, John, because I thought you liked bad games.
No, there we go. I like Bad Company, but I don't like bad games.
That's a bad game. But all right. So the people who watch the show, you kind of know how I am, but I'm going to let Sarah know. So I am a person that all I care about is the game. I care about how it plays. That's what matters. You can't play art. You can't play components. None of that stuff matters to me. Largely.
So you like New York Zoo?
We'll get there. So again, these are things that don't really matter to me. They're just purely a cherry on top. Like if it's got nice components and it's really pretty, cool. But again, you can't play components. You can't play art. Those are completely secondary. The mechanics, the moment-to-moment play is what matters. Excuse me. So here we go with my play shelf trade. So my shelf is going to be Everdell, because it is, like Daniel said, it's like kind of every other game out there. It's nothing really special. It doesn't really reinvent the wheel. but because of it, it's nice and safe. It's inviting. Like, it's a medium weight game that you can probably get to the table with almost anyone. The art is fairly cutesy and stuff like that, so that if for people it matters to, that's nice. The tree is overproduced, but it's fine. It's there. The berries and stuff like that, man, those feel good in my hands. The only other component that feel better in my hands is the Azul tiles. So I do appreciate the components from Everdell, and the game itself is great. The major flaw is I don't understand them. They need to talk to Wizard of the Coast and figure out what font size to use on their cards. Like, there's some of the cards have such a small font that you have to read that's actually important. It's not flavor text, and it's insane. So that's the one minor downside, is that the text is kind of small, but again, it's a good safe game. So having it on my shelf forever that's where I'm going to put it as Everdell. I'm going to put New York Zoo as my play. The reason is because I've only played it once. Or not New York Zoo, I'm sorry. I said the wrong name. Ark Nova. Ark Nova is my play. Yeah.
I was about to walk over there, Chris, and hit you.
I understand. I appreciate it. I'm glad you said something, because, yeah, it would have been a real problem. So Ark Nova is my play. I've played it one time. Again, it was this is Terraforming Mars about a zoo, right? And I love Terraforming Mars. That game is so clean, almost so perfect. The art and stuff, all that stuff is a problem. I understand clip art and not matching. But again, these aren't the things I care about, really. So all those things I could push past. So I love Terraforming Mars. And so Ark Nova is supposed to be Terraforming Mars, but on the zoo. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. The way the cards come to you, though, I just really don't like. The actual draft of the cards of Terraforming Mars is one of the things I love the most. I hate the little cards in the row. You could just be really lucky or really unlucky. But again, Daniel keeps shaking his head about me anytime I talk about this, so I need to play it again. It sounds like I'm going to get a chance based on John and Daniel, so I'll give this game another chance. But I don't think it's going to get there. I still am going to want to play Terraforming Mars. Anytime I would play Ark Nova. And then my trade is New York Zoo. And the reason is because, again, like John said, it's just kind of like filling your board. It's not all that interesting. And this is the game that broke me with the community and people caring about art. I don't understand how this game got to print. It looks like it was left in the sun for 3 months. It's so washed out. The colors are so just blah. I don't understand how this is not a big deal in the community. The community can't get over art and components, but they just completely brush it aside for this game. I don't know if it's because it's Yui or something that people are like, oh, well, I can't say anything bad about the great Yui Rosenberg. But yeah, this game, not interesting, not fun, nothing new, and it looks like it was left in the sun for 3 months, and it's such a trade for me. I just don't get this game.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right, I'm Game Snob.
Chris, the only thing I want to make a comment about is there's no such thing as overproduced. Okay.
There is.
I don't know what kind of a child.
There's my girl. She said
Foundations of Rome, way overproduced.
No. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself when you play a game. There's for everything that you think is overproduced, somebody else is going, I like having toys with my games, and I'm not afraid to say it. So
right. But you know what I want? I want 2 games and not just one. And I only have so much money. So just make it like it needs to be done so I can have more.
Chris wants to print and play every game that he owns.
Set these people straight, Sarah.
Oh my God, you guys are all just gonna hate me. Okay, so so the game that I would play right now, I would actually play Everdell, just because recently I had the chance of covering a game called Wondrous Creatures for its Kickstarter, and it reminded me a lot of Everdell, but I actually think it was better than Everdell. So I feel like I'd like to play Everdell again, just because it has the same kind of mechanics as Wondrous Creatures, but I just think Wondrous Creatures did it better. But Everdell, like, I really love the components, the artwork. I just think it's all super cute. And I love cute animals. So I would play Everdell right now because I really love worker placement. You know, I know that we're not talking about Wondrous Creatures, but I do think Wondrous Creatures did it better. But since it's not on the list, I'm going to play Everdell right now. I'm going to shelf New York Zoo. So I'm going to shelf New York Zoo just because I do enjoy polyomino games, but I will agree that, yeah, you're just basically trying to like fill up the board and stuff. But I love the animal meeples in the game. Like, I can't get rid of a game that has those amazing animeeples in it. Definitely trading Ark Nova. I hate Ark Nova. I'm sorry. Yeah, I played it once at a 4-player count, and it was one of the most miserable experiences of my life. I just was dying for it to end, and it just was so long. And, I understand that, you guys really love it, but, there just wasn't anything redeeming about it for me. Like the artwork couldn't even the artwork was bad. So even that was not helping me out. The gameplay was just too long. I didn't like the scoring mechanism with the different tracks around the board, trying to get the cards I needed. It was just awful. It was just really just such a horrible experience for me. It was like the worst 4 or 5 hours of my life. It was so long. It was just such a long game night, and I just wanted it to end so badly. So I would trade Ark Nova in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Sarah, I'm going to jump in here right now and tell you I'm sorry, because apparently what I did is I stole your soul, your essence, and put it in my body for the time that I played New York Zoo. Everything you say is
You mean
how
Ark
I felt
Nova?
about playing that game.
You
So
mean
I
Ark Nova?
apologize that I ruined those moments of your life.
One thing you said about Ark Nova, though, that I agree with is, especially for a game that long, I hate the scoring tracks on the outside, because then it's a race, and it's a race that's a marathon, because it's like 3.5 hours long. And what I was saying to these guys is, that's fine if you're in first or close second place, but if you're in fourth place, why are you even finishing the game? Why don't you just bail out and let the other guys finish? Because there's no hidden scoring, there's none of that stuff. There might get a few points at the end, but it's not going to catch you up. So I don't know. I'd rather have a game where you might have cards there. Oh, well, I'm going to get points on this that he's not going to get points on, or I'm going to get none of that makes enough of a difference. Basically, whoever crosses first ends up winning every game that I've seen. So
I totally would have bailed on it, and I'm not one who usually bails on games in the middle, but one of the other players was my ride, so I was basically hostage. Yeah, so
gotcha.
I love it. I will say what you just said, Sarah, I actually really about Ark Nova is actually what's great about this hobby. Like literally everything you said you hate about that game is literally what I like about that game, which is just crazy about how these games, like you can acknowledge like this one was well made or this one has merit, but you can go, it just wasn't for me, and I just love that you can be so extreme. You got one of the best games by one person's standard and the worst game ever by another's. Like it's just kind of a cool thing that our hobby does.
so Daniel just said he likes bad art, because that's what she says in Ark Nova. Okay, that's interesting.
Hey, despite what you guys say,
fine.
I'm actually not all about the art. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I see art that's beautiful, I'm gonna it's gonna hold me back. But I like ugly games too. I'm sure I would like Hansa Teutonica.
I don't like ugly games. Sorry. Like there's
Thank
just
you.
so many games in this world. Like if a game is ugly, I'm like, why would I buy even if it's a really good game when I can get a really good game that also has amazing artwork? Like there's just so many games. Like I'm not gonna buy an ugly game.
Very good.
Sarah, you need to come on more, because you just like power bombed me and Chris, and from different perspectives. So, well, guys, that was our play shelf trade. Let us know in the segment what your play shelf trade is. Let us know if you would trade or play Ark Noah, because apparently that was on the list.
Yes.
And Wondrous Creatures. Actually, I do want to play Wondrous Creatures, because if it is Ark
Same.
Nova and it doesn't have a giant tree, then it has to be better, right?
You mean Everdell? But yeah, no, for
Everdell,
real. I know you weren't like plugging it on purpose, but everything you said, by the way, I meant to double back on that. Like, it has me excited to play it. Like, because again, for all the reasons I like Everdell, and this is Everdell Plus from what you're saying.
Yeah, I definitely is Everdell Plus. Like the worker placement spots are so much more interesting and better. It's a little bit easier to get resources, but still, it's not like an easy game.
Sure.
And I feel like you have way better tableaus that you can build in Wondrous Creatures than in Everdell. Highly recommend it. It was just fantastic.
I'll check it out.
Cool.
All right. Well, let us know, guys. But let's move on to round 4.
Round 4, fight!
Board game, believe it or not.
All right, round 4 comes back to me for the award-winning Believe It or Not segment. Is it true? Can you believe it? We'll find out as I tell each of our other guys and girl about different games that may or may not exist. They get 1 point if they get it right. If I fill 2 of them, I get a point. I usually don't score very well, but I come up with some interesting games. So it's something to talk about. So we'll start with our guest around the board in a minute. Around the board in a minute. That's what you should change your title to. Around the board in a minute.
Maybe I'll be the title of the episode.
4 games in a minute sponsored. Sarah Shah. Sarah, can you pick a number between 1 and 10 for me, please?
2.
2. Let's see if I
It
can
was
find
quick
it.
too, like very
It was.
decisive.
It's like she knew what she wanted.
Yeah,
We
Not
did
hard
all
to pick a number, Chris.
he
Come
came
on,
to play the game.
learn.
we did all the low ones last time, so I had to redo them. Okay. Number 2 is ulcers from 1969. Try to ulcers, ULCERS, ulcers. Okay. Try to assemble a full staff of personnel, 2 secretaries, 2 salesmen, 1 sales manager, 1 vice president, and 1 president to run your company. The problem? There aren't enough available for more than 1 company to achieve that goal. Early editions had all female secretaries and all male higher personnel, and then they said, you know what? That's not right. Let's have all of them be any kind of gender. So when it came out, it was very 1969, and then they updated it. So ulcers, what do you think, Sarah? Does that sound like a game that really came out in 1969? Do you believe it or not?
No, I don't.
Sarah says no way. That is there any reason why you think it just sounds too ridiculous?
I just like, I just feel like as time has gone on, people have started to think of more creative themes. But back in the day, I feel like themes were not that plentiful. So I can't imagine a game with this theme coming out that early on. Now I feel like you can come out with anything because people are coming up with all kinds of crazy themes. But back then, I don't think so. No.
Gotcha. All right. Daniel, what do you say, buddy? That we have one not believe it. What do you say?
I'm gonna go with believe it, because John, that was so far-fetched. That was one of those, like, if you went to Ripley's Believe It or Not museum, you would go, that's not real. And it's like, no, it really is real, because it's so unbelievable. Like, I don't think you would have plugged that in the 1969s if that's something you came up with. So it has to be real.
So you don't believe it's therefore it's real.
I said it's real.
Okay. Daniel believes it. All right, so we got 1 and 1. Chris, it's up to you if I'm going to get a point or not.
I'm gonna say not real, because I don't understand how the name has anything to do with the game. Like, I understand, like, you're having, like, you get an ulcer because it's difficult or something, but, like, I don't know that, like, there wasn't a whole lot of, like, quality to games and credence back that far back, so, like, maybe that guy was just real bad and was like, oh, ulcers, that makes sense, kind of like but then again, I was wrong about envelopes of cash, so I don't know. I'm still gonna say it's not real, because that name just doesn't make any sense with the rest of the game. So,
well, believe it or not, ulcers did come out in 1969.
They can either believe it or they cannot believe it.
A real game. I couldn't believe it either. I don't even remember where I saw it. I saw it online somewhere. I'm like, what is this game? I looked it up. Sure enough, it's on BGG, and that was the description. I'm like, no way. I guess you get ulcers because only one of us can do it. I got to get my company going. So
I guess, but man, there's got to be a million names better than ulcers. But
I know, isn't that a bad name?
Yeah.
When did the reprint come out? Because you said it went from all, like,
I don't know.
Secretaries.
Sometime in the 70s. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't even that far along. Okay. Well, that's good.
I doubt it. Yeah, they haven't made it anytime soon. Anytime recently. Daniel, how about you? Daniel, how about a number between 1 and 9?
I'm gonna go with 8.
Number 8. See what I got here. Oh, here we go. Deck chairs on the Titanic from 2022. So just last year. You have secured yourself the coveted position of deck chair attendant on the unsinkable Titanic as she sets off on her maiden voyage. Collect your deck plan and head for the first-class promenade. Your passengers will tip you handsomely for their favorite positions, especially if you take someone else's preferred spot. A large chunk of ice seems to have fallen on the deck, but still the band plays on, and there's work to be done. After all, everyone knows this ship is unsinkable. Daniel, what do you think? Deck chairs on the Titanic. Did that come out in 2022?
I think it did. There's been a wave of Titanic games that have come out. Also, it just feels, I don't know. I think I believe it.
Okay. Daniel's a believe. Old man Chris, what do you say, buddy?
Oh, man. Like,
I'm sure you've heard the saying, rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Or have you?
I've actually not.
You've not?
Like, no.
Like, if there's a manager change, like, for the Royals, usually when they're 100 games out, and it's like, well, you're just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. It's going down. It doesn't
going down anyway. Yeah.
You never heard that?
I've not heard that. That makes sense. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's not real because it again, it's also just too silly. Doesn't make any sense. I'm like, also the where I thought the game was going was I thought like you had to continue. You were still trying to like go down with the ship, but still trying to service the patrons as best as possible, even though the ship's slowly going down. So now the chairs are sliding all over and stuff like that. The iceberg thing kind of makes sense, but I don't know. At least for me, that doesn't make sense. You would go that direction with that game. And it was felt too on the nose about playing the song going down the ship with the guys who played the music that decided not to get off the boat and just play the whole time. So I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna be a hater.
This is a no bleed. Here we go. We got 1-1 again, and it's all up to Sarah whether I get a point or not.
Yes, it is real. I've heard of this game. I know it.
Yes. Yes, it is.
They can either believe it or they cannot believe it.
Is it fulfilled yet, or is it even out yet, Sarah? Do you know? Is it like
That I don't know, but I've definitely seen it before.
Yes, I'm glad you went last. At least I fooled Daniel with that one then.
Yeah.
Or
I
Chris,
saw the look on her face.
I'm sorry, I fooled Chris with it. My bad.
Well, I saw the look on her face, and I was like, I think she knows about this. I think she's seen this game. But I was like, I'm going to play it straight here and go with what I really think. So
what I don't get is the whole. I mean, I'm the theme guy among us. All right, I'm the one that's and I'm like, I can't get into the theme of I'm earning tip money when I'm about to die at the end of the game anyway. What difference does it make? I'm gonna sit in my own deck chair.
But John, you said it yourself. It's an old saying, rearranging the deck chair.
I know, but it's like,
that's the point.
It makes no sense.
Point.
Oh well. Old man Chris, pick a number between 1 and 8, buddy.
I'm gonna go with 7.
Number 7. What do we have here? There we go.
No, you have it.
Number 7. Yeah, that's right. From 1973, how about Alphabet Core? This got to be a Daniel game. Alphabet Core is a strategic word game where your very words can make you ruler of the world. The Alphabet Core game board is a map of the entire world. Each opponent starts in a different corner of the globe, and on their turn uses their alphabet tiles to create words on a grid to take control of key resources and strongholds. Whenever 2 opposing Alphabet Core forces meet, they have a face-off. Whoever can make the longest word out of the tiles they have available in their Alphabet Core headquarters knocks the other player out of the game. Alphabet Core, the power of words. Chris, what do you think, buddy?
I feel like I'm going to go 0 for 3 today, but I'm going to say this is real. And if not, like, I just hope it's real because I want to play it. And if it is real, I'm absolutely going to play this game. It sounds like ridiculous, but it's, I don't know, just such a weird direction to take a word game. But I'm gonna hope and believe it's real.
We have a hope and a believe it's real from Chris. Sarah, what do you say?
I'm gonna say real. I can't say it's a game I'd ever want to play, but I'm gonna say real.
Sarah's saying real, and she would play it with you, Daniel, because I know you can't wait to play it. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows my 2 favorite games are word games and war games. So, yeah. So, honestly, this actually does sound like fun. I'm not a great speller, but I would actually enjoy a game where you're like seeking area control with the word you spell. That actually sounds pretty fantastic, actually. So I'm gonna hope it's real as well. And if it is, Chris, me and you are gonna play this out. And if it's not, John, get on making it because
that's right.
We got a winner.
Believe it or not, Alphabet Core is a game I made up the other day to fit in this slot. So that sounds like another winner we got to put in the list of ideas.
True.
Yeah, we had a couple other ones that sounded really good too, but there we go. So that's a no-go.
I feel like you made that one purposefully to punch me in the gut there.
I don't know. might have been. So we'll do one more, and Sarah gets to choose it. 1 through 7. Sarah, what do you say?
Well, someone else already took my other number, which was 8. So I guess I'll go with 5.
Going with 5. Let me see. I'm sorry. These are all over the place. Let me see if I can find it.
It's always the worst when someone takes your move.
Yes.
10 minutes to rethink it through.
And they're like, did I even want that move? Okay. How about this? Matlock from 1990. Who's aware of the Matlock TV series? Oh, Sarah has it. It's a lawyer. Here we go. Right? That's probably what inspired her to go to law school. Was watching Andy Griffith on Matlock and those gray suits, man. Those gray suits are something else. All right. Attorney Ben Matlock finds himself once again drawn into a case filled with mystery and intrigue. He knows his client is innocent, but he needs your help to win the case. Up to 4 people compete by traveling through Atlanta and the surrounding countryside, visit crime scenes, discover clues, and get the information back to Matlock in time to save the day. What do you think, Sarah? Did this come out in 1990, and was it your inspiration?
I'm gonna say no, it's not real. And no, he was not my inspiration. I did watch it like occasionally, but not my inspiration.
You
What
really
about
come-
Ally McBeal?
Maybe that.
I've actually never seen Ally McBeal.
Oh, okay.
You know.
I actually really liked Ally McBeal, which a slight detour is why I was really mad about She-Hulk, because I really thought it was going to be Ally McBeal, but with superheroes, and it wasn't, and it made me mad. Okay.
Well, maybe it could be if it was like a regular series. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
maybe.
saying? Like every day, every week for a while.
Yeah.
But Daniel, what do you say about this one, buddy? Matlock,
I'm gonna
1990.
go with false as well, because I think only you know who Matlock is. No, just kidding. I know he's popular. Blah blah blah. No, I just feel like that's one that John was reaching into his childhood and he wanted to relive, and he had
Childhood?
hoped there was a Matlock. Yeah, your child. Yeah, you know.
1990.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, come out. I thought it was like the 70s.
No.
No,
No. All right.
no. Matlock was like the 90s. I don't know, 80s into the 90s. I
80s,
think.
90s, yeah.
Yeah. False isn't one of the choices. Are you actually just saying you don't believe it?
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Okay. I give Andy a hard time whenever he does that, so I got to give you a hard time. It's believe it or not true or false. All right, Chris, did I already score points? Does your vote even matter? We'll see. What do you think? Matlock, 1990. Did that come out?
This screams IP money grab because Matlock was massive, and if you put his name on a board game, you know, every old person that was watching the show back in the day, they're going to buy that game instead of buy a puzzle instead. So 100% this game is real.
Believe it or not, my folks loved Matlock, but this game is not real. You're right. They
Oh
would have
my
bought the game,
gosh.
though. They would have bought the game if it would have been
Oh
real.
for 4.
You're
Man.
right. Oh, you were
Yeah.
0 for the whole thing? Chris?
Yeah, I missed all of them.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay.
Nice.
Well, what do you think there at home? Should they make these games that I made up? Do you think it's too late to do a Matlock game? What do you think? Bring gray suits back? I think that's a good idea. But anyway, that's all we've got on that one. Please let us know what you think about those down below. And now it's time to announce our winner. And it looks like we've got a clear loser with Chris. Good job, buddy.
Always.
Sorry, I did it to you with believe it or not. Then I went in there with 10, got into double digits. And we've got a tie between Daniel and Sarah. And guess what the tiebreaker is?
Being a guest.
Whoever's in the purple square. So there you go.
Hey,
So,
this
Sarah.
is 2 kind of victories for me in a row that have been ripped from my hands.
That's true.
Because of our guest. So I feel like Randy needs to make sure it's rigged next time, so I get the win and actually get to do my rant.
It was
That's
rigged
fine.
last time,
It
Daniel.
was rigged last time you won it. Exactly.
I will be humble, and I will yield my our tie.
There's no humility about it. You lost. And Sarah
our
won.
shared
So
victory,
just-
our shared victory, and I will give it to Sarah.
Yay. So thank you for allowing me to win. I feel bad that I won from a tiebreaker, but a win is a win, so I'll take it. So since I won, apparently I get to talk for a couple minutes. So I guess I will talk about cats. Because who doesn't love cats? And I feel like cats and board games go well together. And if you can see a crate behind me, I'm actually getting a new cat today. So I actually take care of 2 colonies of stray cats, and I'm rescuing one of the kittens from one of those colonies. So he's going to be joining me today. So I'm actually going to go pick him up shortly. So yeah. So do you guys have cats? Do you guys have cats that sit in board game boxes?
Well, I tell you what, when our kids get out of the house, my wife, for some reason, really wants a grumpy cat. She wants one that just has this grumpy face and sits there and knocks stuff off the shelves just to make
Aw.
me mad. And she says, and they are hilarious. I love the grumpy cats. So whenever one comes up on the KC Pet Project or something like that, where they have these, cats that need homes, I'm showing it to her. It's like, yeah, one just like that. That's what we need to get. So yeah, I think there is one in my future.
Oh, good.
But
Everyone
I have 2 against my will because they don't go well with board games, and it drives me bananas. They're like trying to play the game and they jump up on the thing and like and then they get in the box, which is fine, but like sometimes you got other stuff in the box, and it's fine. Yeah, my wife loves cats. I'm a dog person, so but I mean they're fine. I have one that really drives me bananas, but it is what it is.
And I'm allergic to them. I actually love cats, but I will die if I'm around one. So
Gotcha.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah, one of my cat that I have, Toffee, he loves coming up on the table, and when I'm playing board games, he just wants to sit on the board. So one time what I did was the table was big enough, so I've opened up a separate board for him to sit on. And then I have a bag of meeples that I don't use that he can play with. So if he tries swatting any of the meeples on the board that we're actually playing with, I'll give him a meeple from his bag of meeples. So he actually has his own bag of meeples from prototypes of games that I've had over the years, and I'll just give those to him for him to play with.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Actually,
That is really cool.
And is it sad that I've done the same thing for my kids? They have their own bag of meeples.
No, that's funny.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Sarah, for sharing us about cats and your love of cats. I want to ask you a follow-up question though. You said 2 colonies of cats. What does that work? What does that look like?
Yeah, so when cats are stray, apparently they all congregate together, and you call cats that are living together a colony. So each colony has around 20 or so cats. So I go every day to give them food and fresh water and clean up their areas a little bit. I've raised money to buy them shelters. So I'm trying to get the colonies ready for the winter, because winters in upstate New York are very cold. So, if anyone ever wants to donate, I am always accepting donations so that I can build them more shelters. So I've just been, ever since I discovered these colonies this past summer, I've been taking care of them every day. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
We can probably post, if you give us the information, we can probably post something in the comments about if you wanted to find out more about it or donate to it or whatever.
Oh yeah, that would be great. If I could just give you my PayPal link, and I can, I've posted updates on various social media platforms about the shelters and stuff. I don't know if I can give you pictures, or I don't know how you want to do that, but
Okay.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Sounds good.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. All right. Well, let's get this show over with, do our wrap up, and we'll throw it to Chris, because I think he has some news for us.
Some relegations. Chris, what do you got for us, buddy?
That's right. So this week on Board Game Relegation, so I looked at it, checked the numbers, and it's been a little bit. The last time we did it was back in, should have been prepared. It was back in September. So now we're recording here in November. So it's been a couple months, and so I looked at it, and unfortunately, there's not actually been anything truly relegated. A whole lot of moving up and down within that 80 to 100 range, but nothing actually falling off, nothing actually popping up. But I did see a few things that really kind of caught my eye. So first of all, Kalis, the original worker placement, is at 100. It's on the edge of relegation. It's going to break my heart if it falls off, because obviously the guy in the front of Kalis as well as Hans are two of the most iconic grumpy old men of board games. So hopefully it doesn't fall off. And then Keyflower, as it should be, is at 97. So that game's trash and terrible. The only thing good about that game is Daniel giving it to his kids to play with the meeples, because that's the only redeeming property of that game. El Grande, unfortunately, was at 92. And now it's down to 94. Actually, no, it's the other way. I switched around. It was at 94 before, and now it's up at 92. So it's making its comeback after all these years. Not really, but I do think it's actually getting a reprint soon. So maybe it will bounce up. And now Heat, though, man, is on a burner. It is continuing to go up. When we looked at it a couple months ago, it was at 67. It's now up to Sammy Hagar, the 55, all the way up there. So good things for Heat. That game's fun. Played it recently. I do enjoy that one. Want to get some more plays. I'm excited about where that game's going to go with expansions, and I assume there'll be a legacy thing, and it's gonna be a whole thing. That game is going to be a big deal in our community and continue to be. And then a follow-up based on the thing we talked about in our last episode, I came to my knowledge that Great Western Trail actually has 2 entries in BGG for both the first edition and second edition, which I did not know. I thought that was very interesting. So I looked into it, and both editions of Great Western Trail are in the top 30.
Wow.
Great Western Trail 2.0 is at 30, and the original's at 15. So that just tells you how big of a game and how good of a game the community at large think that both editions somehow is in the top 30. So hopefully next time I come to you, we'll actually have a relegation. Hopefully it'll be Keyflower. Hopefully Kalis has gone through the roof. And but right now we just got some interesting points on board game relegation.
Well, Kalis has a very tenuous grip on relevancy there, Chris. Does that mean you're going to have to get rid of it if it drops another notch?
Honestly, it'll just warm my heart even more.
Warm the
That
cockles.
means it's an old and busted game, and we all know that's what I love.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. And one more time, we want to thank you, Sarah, for just joining this group of amateurs and gracing us with your presence and giving us some kind of validity out there in the world.
Yes.
We thank you so much. And if you guys
thank
haven't,
you.
yeah, thank you. And then if you guys haven't checked out Board Games in a Minute, go check her out. We'll put a link down below. Really great channel with some really cool videos of her just explaining games in a minute. Awesome stuff. But thank you all for watching, and remember to tap those like and subscribe buttons. Also, be sure to join our Facebook group Around the Board and send us an email to mail@aroundtheboard.net or reach out to us on Twitter, which is X, or TikTok, or whatever. So until next time, we'll see you around the board.
So I got this like other necklace. When I bought it for El Meeple Negro, it actually came with a gold and a silver. So I'm just gonna go throw on that gold. It goes with the Chiefs really well here. Look at that. Bang.
I gotta show up my game that I made up, Canvas. There we go. Have you ever played Canvas, Sarah?
You've shown that off like
No.
5 times in a row now.
Oh wait, Canvas?
Canvas. How about that, huh?
Wow, did you do that?
Yeah, see
Yeah,
there.
it was actually really impressive.
I didn't even win that episode.
So I am the winner. So I ended up with the most points because of these hosers. No, sorry. Can I start there? Because all these hosers.
Yes.
And do I have to talk about minions?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
All right, let me start that over. Okay.
Oh, no, I loved it. It was great.
Yeah,
Sarah, you
yeah,
don't
I
have to
don't,
read
I
those.
don't use a script, so this is like really hard.
You don't have to read that. I don't know why Randy wrote it.
Oh, he puts that up there every time.
Oh,
and
I didn't,
never
I
read
didn't
it.
even. I thought you were reading off a script you had made. I didn't even look at the one that Randy had made. Oh yeah,
I
no,
don't
no,
use
no,
a script, so that's why I keep
Yeah.
on like stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna read off of it.
Okay,
Okay,
that's fine.
so
It's so
we're
funny
obviously
hearing you call us hosers, though. It's just cracking me. When
Yeah,
you say
so-
it, it's like we're Canadians or something. you know?
Yeah,
Hey,
So
you
I don't even know
hoser,
what
say.
hoser means. I've
Yeah.
never. Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah.